ancestry, that's how it plays out. It comes down through the numbers. But the 512 then, this is when the cells start to divide and we get to 512 cells. That's at the point in time when the human heart starts to form. Now, that's the most electromagnetic organ in the human body. So at 512 cells, the human heart starts to form. Now, I haven't included it in this because it's actually in my book, but me, Michael and Marie was over in the Isle of Man in June, and we went over to the labyrinth symbol, and it's outside St. Germain's Cathedral. Now, I knew them labyrinth symbols. If you want to understand the labyrinth, all you've got to do is look at an induction hob on a cooker with a pan being put on the top, and I know it sounds like a weird way of describing it, but that pan, it creates, it's not the hob that gets hot, it's not the induction hob, it's the pan that gets hot, and it's because it's reacting with atoms. So when we're walking on these grids, on these churches, and you've got the labyrinth symbol underneath, it's reacting with us, it's reacting with the atoms, it's exactly what it is. So if you want to understand it, just look at an induction hob. That's to understand the labyrinth symbol anyway. But we measured that. I wanted to do it because I knew it was related to the human resonance, which is Earth's heartbeat, and if it's related to Earth's heartbeat, it's related to our heartbeat, because we are the same. So in that case then, when we measured it, we realised that was 512 inches, or was it, yeah, 512 inches was it, yeah? 512 inches in diameter and 256 with the radius, and it was because of that heart. We really focus on the heart energy. It is basically creation, and like I said, because it's all based on energy, electromagnetism, that's what the torus is coming, it's a torus field of energy. But as it does with Earth, it's flowing outwards and it's giving them this auric field, but we're going to be flowing with telluric currents, which is the nodes and things in the body, or the nadis, I think it was, that they call them in Hinduism. So then bacterial reproduction, it's the same cycle of mitosis, it's that same thing taking form. It's the bacteria is just going, and now this would have been very relevant in 2020 if I'd understood it back then. I would have been able to see what was taking place better. So that's the expansion from bacteria, but it travels the same as this one. It goes down and you come down to these digits. It's all the same. So the 4096 is the last one. So as we're coming down, we end up getting to these numbers. And these numbers are very, very important numbers, because what we've got are frequency ranges from note A in particular. But not only that, but we've got the entire coding from the Great Pyramid of Giza. We've got the entire coding for Jesus Christ. We've got the entire coding of all the harmonics. We've got everything sat inside those numbers right there. So, to break them open then, musical notes, gematria, measurement, distance and time. These are some of the things that form this construct, some of the most important things that actually form the construct all around us. So the musical notes, as I touched on earlier with note G5 and the 7.83 hertz human resonance, that's what we're dealing with, kind of thing. Now with gematria, this is what I really want people to understand, because there's so much rubbish online right now where people are spreading it and saying this number equals this number, so that means that they're all bad people because they've got that number, so just write them off completely. And it's not the way it works. Gematria is earth measure, it's literally what it is, it's geometry. So if we're not using it as a geometrical form, then we're not using it to its full potential, and it's not going to have the effects that it's supposed to have, which is why people aren't learning right now when people who are travelling around. Now I don't know if there's any flat earth kind of people in here that follow that kind of thing, but the construct is showing us this earth measure. Now that flat earth thing has been done to steal this knowledge from people, because they do not want people to understand this construct, because you will be free from this construct when you do. That's the whole point of it. They want you in this construct because it's energetic. Keep this construct alive, basically. If you're not here, this construct doesn't exist, this reality doesn't exist. So as I spoke earlier on with Blybon, this is what he started to figure out. He started to figure out that the gematria was coded inside of him. So what Blybon done, he used Hebrew and he used the Greek mostly. That's what he used it for. He used them, that style of gematria, where I used the English and the Chaldean and all these, but they're exactly the same. They all come together. So one of the common things that you'll see in churches, they always have a 5:15 service in churches. That's because Jesus equals 515 in English Standard. So Jesus' gematria is coded in all these churches and all these abbeys and everything else. It's all in the structure. So when you go to places like Wells Cathedral, they have something called the Scissor Arch. If you actually look at the Scissor Arch in Wells Cathedral, it's creating the vesicle pisces of the fish, which is the Jesus fish, what Jesus calls for the miraculous catch of fish. So The miraculous catch of fish is 153 fish. One of the ratio for the best capacities is 153. So this is where it comes from, that number comes from that, and it was used in the Old Testament with Solomon's temple. It had 153,000 constructors, and it's because of this, it's the construction taking form from the Vesca. So what Blyborn knew that was coming up as these numbers were appearing for him, and obviously he didn't have enough time to break them open, but if he did, he didn't share it. So the 1480s and everything else, this is all the geometry that he was working with, and he was starting to produce real work from it and getting real answers in Glastonbury, getting downloads of information and starting to break open that construct. So the Musica Universalis, this is the music of the spheres that Lynn was playing for us before. These are the frequencies that are governing what's above us. And so of course, this album cover here, you've got the cube and the planet, the Saturn, the infinity symbol, etc, etc. Now, that was released by Coldplay, that album that was released last year or year before. It was released on the 288th day of the year, same as Mona's Golden, because it's always got to be perfect. So 288 is a higher octave of 144, which is the harmonic of light. So these are the codes that they're using, and they all use them because, for starters, they've probably got the money to afford the best books out there, which are rare. So these people who have got the money, they are sitting there and they are learning, and they don't care what people are online saying all this rubbish about them. Why would they care? They don't really care about this construct as a whole, because they've managed to gain the knowledge to understand it. So when I said before, when people are trying to escape from samsara to nirvana, they're letting go of all the material construct, all these things that we have on, these watches, and it just doesn't mean anything. So when you let it all go, you start to free yourself from everything, nothing really matters, and you start to flow, just flow with it naturally. So of course, again, they've used all the geometry of the Vesca and everything else, Coldplay, they used it all with it. And they're trying to give people the answers. If people are looking, they're giving the answers out, it's all there. So the music of the spheres, the celestial bodies, this is pretty much what all the musical tones and notes are all about in Rosslyn Chapel. It's all healing frequencies, as Lynn has just done. So I don't know if Lynn's showing you with the balls at all, but it's all right to pick this up.
Yeah.
So she's labelled them anyway with the C, and so on and so forth. So it's all the musical notes that she's using, and that's what they've been using down in the chapel or down at Giza and all these different places that they've been using all these resonant frequencies. So when I was talking about the bacterial reproduction earlier on, here's the frequencies. So you can see, if you just follow this line, you can see them all here. Every single one of them are in note A. So this is also Jesus gematria, it's also Giza, all coded at Giza exactly like this. So if people need proof of the resonant frequencies at Giza, you'll get them throughout this, is because all you need to do is look at Giza and the way it's formed. So Giza, for example, it's got 4 base sides of 440 cubits, which is our 440 here. 440 times 4 equals 1760, which is our 1760. Giza was 481 feet in height, which is this one, 14080, and it's all the frequencies. Now this is all coded to Giza, and it's a fact. This is what they've done. With Giza as well, what it has taken into line for, with it being the Rose Cross, the Ross Tau, they've took into alignment for the Giza and Venus alignment that's coming into play. So when you look with Giza, when it produces all those numbers, the 756 feet, which is the 440 cubits, is 756 feet is the translation. That 756 is the diameter of Venus. 756 feet transfers to 90,072 inches, which is Earth's diameter, given a 13.8 orbital resonance of Earth and Venus. So this is the alignment that creates the rose of Venus, then the pentagram in the sky above our heads. But all the planets are doing this, it's orbital resonance, which I do break open in my book in real detail on the orbital resonance. So that's what it is, that's what's taking the form in this construct, and this is here. These are all our numbers. So as I said, with Mona Lisa's number is the 4081. It's the most important number to my research, and Giza is 481 feet, or was originally 481 feet in height. So energy, as I said with gematria, we've got it, it's just there, it's energy. So this is the gematria for the word, for the vibration of what you're speaking, energy. You're producing these numbers So these numbers again, we're all just there, they're all the harmonics. So you've got the 74, which is the 740, A8. You've got the 148, which is A9. You've got the 444, which is your 440, so on and so forth, the 33 and the 69. Now this is the number that has just become so important to my entire research, and it's because of Rosslyn Chapel, it's because it's all coded at Rosslyn. It's solfeggio frequency. So they say that there's 9 solfeggio frequencies, which I'm not too sure about. I'm thinking that there's probably 6 permutations for each 3-digit number as it works, which would give us the 18 from the cube that Michael was sharing. So that's the gematria for energy. So when you start breaking the construct down, then it's exactly the same as the gematria for Lucifer, for Jesus, and for gematria itself. And it's because they're trying to show us that construct, that how it works, how it forms. So you've got Jesus and Lucifer, or you've got Jesus and Mary. It's exactly the same. Lucy rising, the light. They're both the light, aren't they? It's all it is. Jesus is the light, Lucifer's the light. It's the same thing. So again, you've got that male and female, the energy combining to create that equilibrium. So what we do have is the 74 plus 74 equals 148. So what obviously, as I spoke about the Twin Towers earlier on, they were at 74 degree coordinates each one. So we had the twins. And we had Jesus and Lucifer there at 74 degree coordinates. The 2 pillars come down. It's exactly what it was. So with the word gematria itself, I found that interesting, where it reproduces the number that comes back around from the 5 to 8 on energy. So it just reproduces it in a different permutation. So gematria is the energy, it's your energy. So this is why words can be very powerful. You can do a lot of damage with words, or you can do a lot of healing with words. You can make people happy, you can make people sad. Be very careful with what we say and what we're casting out into the world. So of course, this is just to show you this is the frequencies of Jesus. That's what Jesus is, his energy. It's always been energy, and he always will be energy. That's why he's coded in all these churches and chapels. That's what it's based about. So this is Jesus in Greek. That's Jesus, that's Christos. Jesus Christ is, again, it's exactly the same. So this is, as I say, this is what Bly Bond started to realise when he was writing those books all those years ago. Started to realise that all these structures had all these codes within them. So then Giza, as I said with the notes, this is how it all comes together, is that the frequencies that all come to light. So they've had the harmonic frequencies being played out at Giza, and one of the ones that really does resonate there is 33 hertz, which is a lower octave of 5 to 8 hertz, whereas the upper octave of 5 to 8 hertz is the Schumann resonance then. So one of the lower octaves is 33 degrees. What I don't want to speak about too much is because there's children in the room today, so I won't go into that number. But it's a number that it's a number found at Giza that was used in a way for reproduction. Let's say it was reproductive. Okay, let's try and be a little bit careful. So this is the ancient measurement system. So not only does the gematria all line up with frequencies and everything else, it lines up with the ancient measurement systems. So what they were doing was giving us all these different things. So the ancient Israel measurements of the hand was the 74mm for the hand span. This 518 number here, we find is coded all over the place. For example, Glastonbury Tor is 518 feet in elevation, 518.4. Or the Colosseum in Rome is 158 metres, or feet, one or the other. And that's also in an elliptical shape of the Vesca. It's because of the elliptical shape of Earth, basically the mother. So then, again, what they've been doing again with the Romans, they've done the same thing. They've had the same coding, so their cubit would have been 44.4 centimetres. So what we've got now is we've got Jesus as a measurement as well. He's a measurement system, he's a frequency system, he's a religious system of indoctrination that's got people fooled. He's encoded in all this, so this is obviously where all the brickwork comes in from. So the original stonemasons, they would have been building things like Stonehenge and things like that. Avebury, they were the original stonemasons. That's how long this craft goes back. It's a deeply, deeply ancient craft. A very important one. So yeah, so they all come back around anyway. All the measurements come back around. So this 2121 is the Lord St. Clair's 606 times 2. That's what we bring out as these are the measurements that have been used. And it's been used all over the world as well. It's not just in anywhere in particular. So I only really included this more because, again, to show these Mona's numbers, how they appear in everything that they're doing and everything in this construct that's being played out. Mona's numbers will always appear with the 1840, 1480. It will always appear, and it's Christ, it's Christos. So Christos is that equilibrium. So you have Jesus Christ and you've got Lucifer. Jesus and Lucifer create the Christ. That's what they create. They're creating the equilibrium of energy coming together. So now with measurement, is this we start to produce all the same numbers again, which is all in measurement. So it's the 4040 plus the 528, 99 with the 1188, 33 equals to 396. So this is quite important. This one is 33 days is equal to 792 hours. So the 792 is Earth's diameter, 7,920 miles, or Earth's radius, 3963. So them numbers are all encoded together. They're all coming and playing their part. And then we have the 792 over here as well with the 66 feet. What I do find interesting with this, with the 99 feet and the 1188 number, Michael was talking about his cube and how it's all 9s and 18s, and it all plays out in this form. And he said about how it's leading on to this eclipse next year, how it's the 2024 eclipse, and it's that big eclipse date that's coming in. It could be anything, it could be the highest time that any of us ever encounter. But when it's taking form, it's the 99th day of the year at 18:18 p.m. That's the exact time of that greatest eclipse time. It's exactly that, and it's exactly Michael's cube. It's all coded there in the cube. So this is what Da Vinci's research was leading on to. What I haven't done is I haven't included it in this one because it's going to be a part of Mona's book. But with the 2024 eclipse, the declination of the sun is going to be at 7.53, and the declination of the moon will be 7.35. Mona's exact coordinates, dimensions from her opinion, exactly. So it's an interesting one. Da Vinci's coded it very well. So again, with the measurements, it's all coming back around. So we've got the 216 that Michael spoke about, 6 times 6 times 6 gives us that cube. That equals the 25,920 inches, which is the precession of the equinox. That's our number. So it's 25,000 years, 25,920 years. 148 and 1776, of course, is the year America gained their independence. This is all part of Jesus' gematria and part of that construct. When the Twin Towers were brought down, we had the union of energy, and because the towers were brought down, they've been unified. So built from that then was the one World Trade Center, because two become one. It's exactly what happened. Two become one, they built the one World Trade Center. One World Trade Center stands at 1,776 feet, obviously to take into account to their independence. The 864 is the number of the sun. It's the diameter of the sun, 864,000 miles. And this number we'll come to in a minute. It's a very important piece of numerology in regards with Lord Jesus Christ. That Lord in particular just changes that entire gematria. But it's an earth measure. As all of this is, it's all earth measure, otherwise it wouldn't be a part of the gematria and it wouldn't be part of geometry. So it has to be to do with the earth in some form. So this is our Lord Jesus Christ. This is what it comes out to, 3168. So of course this is the Jesus Christos and the Lord equaling the 800. But then when we start going into the notes, we find it again then with B10. So Jesus' gematria, without a doubt, it's all frequencies and it's all coded here. So what we've got is we've got Earth's diameter, 7902, and then we've got Earth's core, said to be 1,584 miles in diameter, and then we've got either side of Earth's core is 3,168 either side. So 3168 plus 3168 plus 15840 equals 7920. We've got Earth measure, and this is where the gematria comes in. So we've literally measured the Earth. So to get to the outer core as well, they say they have to drill down to 1,584 miles or meters, whatever, to get there, to get to a certain level of the crust. But it's all frequency stuff, and again, with measure in miles, it comes back around. So the conversion from 1 mile was to 5,280 feet. So this is coded at Rosslyn. Don't want to give that coding away right now because it's all in that book, and it's detailed, really detailed in that book. So all this is in there as well, all the frequencies and harmonics are all being explained in there in a much deeper level. But again, obviously we get them all appearing. We've got the 126, 352, these are all the frequency numbers, 1584, 253, 704, So again, it all just reproduces the number of the sun, or we end up on the big one, the big number at the end, Christos, coded in everything. So this is the measurement of time now. Obviously we've got measurements of distance and mileage and everything else. This is the measurement of time. It's exactly the same. So this is the Jesus construct, basically. It's the Jesus world, the Pisces, the world of Pisces that we're living in. It's the Jesus construct. And they use his gematria to show the formation of it and how it's taken form. So with the 3168 here, you'll notice it equals to 729. That is Michael's cube that he presented earlier. It's 9 times 9 times 9 equals 729. Obviously, it's a permutation then of Earth's diameter, 7,920. So Glastonbury tour, spent a lot of time in Glastonbury over the past year or so in particular. And it's because I started to look at that as a pyramid, because obviously you've got Glastonbury Festival and you have the pyramid stage. So all my work's based on these pyramids and mounds and everything else, so I knew that this was not going to be any different. The tour is one of the most important in the country. So obviously the tour, they're giving you the clue to the tourist of the energy, of that high energy coming from the spiral of the seven walkways around the tour kind of thing. But it's when you actually start to break open the code of Glastonbury, you start to realise. So this is a picture that was put up from Megalithomania a few years ago. So it's the sun rising up the side of the tour. Now it travels up the side and it does the exact same thing that it does with some of the pyramids in Mexico and things like that, Pyramid of the Sun, everything else with serpents. It's doing the exact same thing. So for that to have been taking place like that, it's a man-made structure. It's not just by chance. There's no way that that's been done like that. So St. Michael's Tower probably shouldn't be on there, but if it is for one reason at all, it's because this hill is 518.4 feet, which is the 1584 permutation that I gave you before. But with that on top, it's probably going to equal 555 feet in elevation, which is the heart. Glastonbury is the heart centre of this planet.